Welcome to the BlueCollarBaddies podcast. This is episode number 25. This episode is sponsored by BlueCollarGrind, badass coffee for hardworking people. They've recently dropped a new blend featuring women in the trades. It comes in whole bean, ground, or pods. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go check it out. Today we're here with Angelica, and what do you do?
I like to say like a little bit of everything. Like there's not like one specific task. So I guess originally I started out doing meat processing and kind of went all over the world doing that.
Dang.
And it was super interesting and I love it to this day, but it was like something that I got into was like, okay, I'm going to come back and retire with this plan. So I did end up going to college. I was a triple major on my associates, and then I got my bachelor's in like occupational health and safety with a minor in small business and entrepreneurship to just kind of like take off. But I kind of needed to like get away for a little bit, and I acquainted with a company out of Montana. They did heavy civil, and they're called Barnard. They're massive, and they took a chance on a kid that didn't have a degree or anything yet. They're like, come on. And I was like, okay. So I started with them doing safety and then kind of bumped up into the earthworks position, you know, and then I'd been gone and I hadn't seen home in months, and I was like, okay, it's time to like come back.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it's time for me to leave. And they were super sad. They're a great company. I could call them this day, be like, hey, I need help. And they're there.
That's awesome.
So I packed up and I was like, I'm headed home. Mm-hmm. And word of mouth, before I ever even hit Kansas, a guy called me and was like, hey, I have a company that's like needing safety and DOT, and like, I know that you run trucks and like you have your CDL and you and your dad got your own thing going back home, but I think it'd be a great fit. I was like, okay. So I came back for them, and you know, I was their safety manager for their pipeline company.
Okay.
And then I ran their trucking company with another guy as well, so we had two different divisions off of that. So from running their trucking company, being their DOT specialist, and their safety on that side, like I was stretched thin on top of all my own stuff. So, you know, it was a great company as well. It's just when the ship started rocking, it was like, okay, like what's the next plan? And, you know, my thing that I've came acquainted with is like, everywhere you're gonna meet someone, like make the good connection, like make a good first impression. And so, which is one of my best friends now, Jack, he's probably in his 50s. He called me and he was like, you ready to come like work with me? I was like, I don't know if they're gonna be able to handle it. And they're like, he's like, let's go. And I was like, all right. So I switched to the company I'm with now, Genesis, which we're a general contractor, so we do pretty much anything and everything. We have a pipeline division, insulation and scaffolding division, and then a facility division as well. So they have offices all over, and they're amazing to work for. They're great. I've been with them for a year, so I'm their DOT specialist and safety as well. So it's awesome. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, so originally, like growing up, what do you think you were gonna be?
Originally growing up, like I love my parents. Like they're very like goal driven. Like I think I was probably like in 5th grade. They're like, "What are you gonna do with your life?" And I'm like, I have no idea, you know. And so, at first, like so, me and my dad and mom and sister, we run a 500 head cow-calf operation, and we custom bale hay. And me and my dad, we run trucks together. Actually, just bought our first pot this year, so it's been pretty busy. And between hauling pipe and everything else, he's stretched pretty thin as well. So I was like, I'm never leaving. Like, So when my dad started off, he started off in the oil field, and then he like wanted to be back home, so we went back to mechanic. And so I was like always with him. And my mom is so smart, and she's a nurse practitioner, and like she's the type that you can just like look at a paper and like understand it. Like, I'm more like common sense smart, like let me just real world problem it and figure it out. She can like look at a paper and be like, okay, this is it. So like I was like, I don't know whose like path I want to follow like down, but I was always with my dad everywhere he went. He always wanted a boy, but I guess like I turned out to be that, you know. And so the first time I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a mechanic like you, Dad. And he was like, I don't think so. I was like, no, like that's what I'm gonna do. And so it was like this first time I ever got my hair wrapped around a creeper wheel. I was like, I'm out. This is done. I'm like scooting out from underneath, and I was like, help me.
Oh my gosh.
And so then I was like, no, I'm going to be a vet. And then I was like, I hate school. Like, I have to try so hard, but like, I ended up finishing valedictorian and stuff when I was in high school, like, but I had to work at it. But I was also the kid in school that my parents had to be like, you have to go today. Like, there's no getting out of it. And I was like, well, I made an agreement with the secretary as long as I can do this. And they're like, no, you're going. So then I was like, no, vet's too long. And I told my dad, I was like, I think I'm just going to do the meat processing thing. Like, I got a full ride to college. I was on the judging team. I was like, do this. At least I have a degree to fall back on if I ever need it. Like, I got that piece of paper. But I'm just going to do that and come back home and help you. And he was like, whatever. And, I kind of, like, when you're young, you, like, fall in love. And you're like, oh, my gosh, I can't leave. And, but I think I encountered, like, a pretty good experience when I was about 15, 16. Going into 17, I got super sick. And they didn't think I was going to pull through it. And so, like, I remember, like, sitting there in the hospital and, like, I'm like, gosh, this is scary. And the doctors were like, you should not ever, like, go a day without saying, like, I love you or, like, take those chances. And so, like, something like that, like, at a young age just, like, changes your whole perspective on life. And I was like, okay, I'm never going to waste, like, a single experience. I'm going to take everything head on. And so after that, I was like, okay, gears are turning. And so that young love, I'm like, okay, this really isn't going to make it, like, cut your losses now. It's only been 4 or 5 years, like, move on. So that was like, I need a fresh reset to, like, get out. And then it just kind of took off. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I work all the time. And so, it's neat. Everyone has their own story and kind of, like, what got them started. And it's good.
What motivates you and all that. That's
cool.
Well, so if you were to start from the beginning and, like, specifically choose a different trade to be in, what do you think it would have been?
Like, looking back now and, like, meeting all the people that I've met and seeing different, like, eyes of perspective, like, maybe petroleum engineering.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I think that's pretty interesting. Or, too, as well, like, crane operators. Like, the money's good and, like, kind of your own little world up there. And so I was like, maybe if I would have did something like that, my phone wouldn't ring 24/7. Or, like, I wouldn't always have to be like, okay, I gotta catch myself, like, I gotta, like, put a smile on my face and be in a good mood. Even, like, you've got those good days and bad, everybody does. It's just, like, how you handle it. So
crane operator would be awesome. Like, that's
I think that's, like, amazing. I'm like, 3 or 4 picks a day, like, doesn't sound how bad. So
apparently it's some long hours, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's when you got it. When we were in Colorado. So when I was in Colorado, I was on the second largest core asphalt dam in the U.S. So it was a very interesting job. And it was a lot of moving pieces. We had people from Sweden, Germany, all over the world. And our crane operators, they'd have to get there probably about an hour or 2 before everybody else, just set up, then go into your meetings, get ready, and then there they might sit in their crane for half the day waiting to do one pick. So it's just kind of like give or take on everyone else's job scope. So I don't know, I always found it interesting. I was like, what do you do all day? And he's like, I don't know, honestly, like, watch TikTok. I was like, okay.
That's funny. Do you have trouble finding, like, work clothes and boots and anything like that?
I do, because I'm so small. Like 5'2", and, like, everyone that's 5'2" and some change is like, I'm 5'3", But, like, mine, I'm like, okay. And then, like, I feel like the women's FRs, like, they shrink so bad. And so, like, I always, like, wear the men's cinch FRs. Like, finding those in a small enough size, like, okay, I got to custom order it. Or, like, okay. Like, luckily I've been in it for so long now, it's like, okay, like, I have a whole wardrobe. But now, like, when I first started, I was like, oh my gosh. And then just, like, actually finding a pair of steel toes, like, you like. Because, like, the first one I'm like, oh, these look good. Everyone says they're great. And then I'm like, my feet hurt so bad. I cannot do these. So
that's the worst, too, when you are already at work. Like, you can't do anything about it.
No, you're just like, I got to suffer through the pain today. Or, like, I don't know, like, I'll have, like, my steel toe rubber boots, and, like, I think I went through, like, 3 pair of those just to, like, figure out which one I like, because, like, they all fit different, and then I don't know, I tried like the pull-ons and I was like, no, like I gotta have lace-ups. And so then it was like down the chain, and my mom was like, how much are those? And I was like, I know, right? It's expensive.
Yeah.
So
what about like PPE and stuff?
So most every company like I've ever worked for, like we supply PPE, so that's always been good. I mean, I do like to keep my same hard hat. I don't like to like switch that out. I'll switch my stickers, but that's about it. Until that expiration date's up. So
yeah. What's the biggest struggle you've had so far in your career?
Career-wise, I couldn't tell you really like one struggle. Maybe having to come in as like the youngest every time you come in, like I am always the youngest. Like being 23 and they're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, they hired me. They just picked me up. I think that would probably be the youngest, because like a lot of people see like this young girl coming in and they're like, oh God, here we go again, you know? And so you definitely have to go in and prove yourself. And then, I don't know, I think personally wise, like with what I do for work and how busy I am, and like one minute I can be in Oklahoma, the next minute I'm 3 states away, or like here I work this job all week and then I have all my other side stuff on the side. And so I'm like I'll hang up the phone and I'll be like, yeah, I'm getting off work, I'm gonna go home. And then I get a call and it's like, all right, mad dash to like Colorado or Kansas, you know. And it's like rolling in Monday morning. So like being time efficient.
Right.
So with me doing that, like the relationship side of like having to like keep your home life, or like a partner you have to think about, because like I've always been so driven, like from the get-go of like my goals, my dreams. Like my dad was like, money, like go and get it. But the older I get, the more I realize like it's not all about that. It's about the experiences and the people you meet along the way and how it develops you as a person. But you know, the money is a plus. For sure.
What is your absolute favorite thing about your job?
Meeting people. So like when I was in college, and this is crazy because I'll even tell my little sister, because my sister's 12, she's about to be 13, and so I'm like, what are you gonna do with your life? Like, you know how my parents were. And I'm like, what are you gonna do? She's like, I don't know, like I don't care. And I was like, no, you better figure it out. And like I try to tell her, I was like, you know, like when I was in college, I was working a full-time job, like I had a family to take care of, like I had 26 credit hours a semester because I was trying to get done. And I was like, you know, when I was working, I met so many people that I still haul loads for my own. Like you just meet connections everywhere. And when I was bartending, I came across a group, great, work in the oil and gas industry as well. And we just kind of became friends. They came in every day for lunch or whatever. And it's crazy because we'll laugh about it to this day. I do work for them now, like with the company I'm with. And so they're like, it's crazy. We met when you were bartending, and here you've like evolved so far.
Right.
And here you are back. So like you just, the little experiences along the way, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. So if someone was coming out of high school and wanted to do what you're doing right now, what advice do you have?
You do not have to have a degree. I think the reason why I went with a degree is I was like, you know, I have a full ride to college. Yeah. Even though it wasn't my thing, I was like, I've got to push through with this because like I'm not going to be out anything. Like I'm not going to be in debt like everyone else coming out. So I've got to make it work. And my mom was like, you always got to have that piece of paper. And honestly, I've never used that piece of paper a day in my life. Yeah. Like it's just like, it looks good on a resume. That's about it. You know, your heart's got to be in it, and you've got to be willing to work for it. And there's going to be days that you're going to come in and people aren't going to have faith in you. Or there's going to be times that you come and sit down at a table with someone that looks at you because you're young or you're a woman, and they're like, okay, I'm about to make her look stupid. And I'm like, oh, buddy, I'm about to show you something. So you got to be willing to hold your own. So, you know, you can't come in and you can't wear your feelings on your sleeve, or you're going to get your heart hurt every single day. You kind of, you got to put a little sheet of ice over there and just kind of roll with it. So
for sure. Good advice.
Yeah. I know at first I was like, okay. Like I've always been a strong, like outgoing person, just because like me being my dad's little boy, I guess, you know. And coming into it, I was like, okay. And I think like the first kind of like disagreement I ever got into, I was like, all right, nice, out the window. I'll be nice when I have to. But you got to be able to hold your own, and you know, you're not always right. You know, you think you're right, but you're not. You got to be willing to, like, hey, I need help.
Right.
How can I do this? How can I change it? Like, how can I evolve from this? Like, and that's where my probably my two best friends, they're 50s, Jack and Jeff. They're great. Me and Jeff, we ran that trucking company together. And I tell you what, he's seen me so mad sometimes at truck drivers. If you've ever had to deal with them, you're like, oh God, just it's a logbook. Like, I know it sucks, but like, we've got to do it. Or like, here we've got a truck down, and now we've got, you know, all these loads that we've like acquired and like deadlines to meet. So it's like, what are we gonna do? So I mean, I've threw my fair share of fits and maybe a few 2 walls that have had some holes in them. But I mean, both of them, that's what I was laughing about talking to my parents, and they're asking about them. And I was like, well, if I ever need like reassurance on like the right realistic thing to do, kind of like bring me down a little bit when I'm mad, I was like, I'll call Jeff. Jeff, which he actually broke off and started his own heavy haul company, which is amazing. Bowen Trucking, and he's doing great. And I was like, so if I ever need someone to like bring me back down, talk me down, I was like, I'll call Jeff. And I was like, now if I need someone to hype me up, I'm gonna call Jack, because he's gonna be like, do it. Like, you need to cause a scene. And I'm like, oh, you know, that's probably not good for everybody, but okay.
Here we go.
But yeah, we're gonna. So they're a pretty good group to kind of like find your happy medium. So you'll find your place, and you know, there's going to be more people that want to see you succeed in the industry than they want to see you fail. You'll come across one or two that want to act like they know everything, and they're not going to help you, and that's when you got to be like, all right, I'm about to teach you a lesson. You're going to sit down for a minute and think about it when I'm done. So you got to be able to hold your own, that's for sure.
Nice. Do you run across many women in your trade?
When I was in Colorado, I did. But that company, there was more like women in safety and stuff like that. And there was a few operators. Yeah. And that's what I was talking to them. They're like, you know, just finding a woman that wants to come to the trades and it's like is willing to grow and just like continue to go on. It is hard to find, you know, because a lot of them like, okay, I'm here, I'm gonna, you know, get my money and go home. Yeah. And if your heart's in it for the right reasons and it's what you enjoy to do, you will just shoot for the stars, because, you know, well, if they have a woman come in that wants to mean business and, you know, go to work and make them look good, they're like, heck yes, let's go. So now going back to the oil and gas industry, like which I'm in now, not really. Occasionally you'll run across one or two, and normally when I run across those, there will be a few that are willing to talk and, you know, open up, but, you know, sometimes it's just kind of there for the wrong reasons, and so it's kind of like, yeah, we're not going to get along. So, I mean, I work with more men than anything, and that's what I was telling my mom. I was like, you know, you don't realize like how many hours you spend with these people, and like you're gone from home for so long, and you don't even have to tell them what's going on in your life. Like, they can read you like a book because they're around you every day, you know? And I think I was going through like a really rough, like, heartbreak in my life. Like, I took 3 years, just work by myself, go, and I didn't tell anybody about it. And I came into work and like you could tell it was just eating me up, but like I didn't like. I kind of like grew up in a home like you cry, like we don't have feelings, like shut them off. And so like you could just tell like inside like I was hurting, and the guys, they're like, Angelica, like what's going on with you? I'm like, nothing, I'm fine. And they're like, BS, like tell somebody else, like I'm around you every single day, like what's going on? I was like, no, really, like I'm good, like it's good. So like they will be the ones that will pick up on, you know, everything, even if you don't tell them. So no, it's good.
I work with my boyfriend, or for him, and so sometimes, you know, he's like, and we live together too. Yeah. A lot of time together, and sometimes it's like, this is too much. Like, you need to go over there, and I'm going to go over here in a little bit. So, okay, a lot of girls, I guess, have a problem with their hard hat, like breaking out their skin or messing with their hair. Do you have any tips for that?
So, like, I always put a sweatband on the inside of my hard hat, but even those two, like, if you don't take them out and wash them, like, it's like, okay, it's still, like, breaking out my face. So, like, Clinique makes, like, an acne solution, which it says it's lotion, but it's liquid, and it's kind of like alcohol. So, like, shake it up and just, like, use that every night, I have not had any problems, thank goodness, because like I'm all the time like getting out of my truck, put it on, like get back in my truck, take it off, so it's like on off all the time, and I'm like, ugh. And I'll be like, okay, it's like 90 degrees and like humidity is terrible, I'm sweating everywhere, and I'm like, no, my face is toast. But since I started using that, like knock on wood, I haven't had any problems, but that's been the one thing that's like helped me the most.
Yeah. Do you like, I mean, I guess you don't probably do a whole lot of heavy lifting at your job?
Not at my like actual job. Like back with what me and my dad do, like like we custom bale hay, and we're all the time equipment breakdowns, or he's like, hey, I gotta go do this, and I'm like, okay, so like 500 head of cattle, like it is a lot of work, and I give him so many props, and my mom so many props, because my mom will go work all day helping people, and then she'll come home and help us more. And so like I give her like so much credit, because there's days that you can just tell she's exhausted when she gets home, and like she turns around and comes back, and it's never, no, I can't do that. It's like, okay, what do we have to do? And that's one thing about my family, like, you know, it's a team. It doesn't matter if I'm on the other side of the world and they're home, or if they've got to go off and do something. My dad's running loads for what we got going on, and you know, it takes a team. Yeah, it takes a village. Awesome. So back on that side of the aspect, there's a lot of heavy lifting and smashing the fingers every now and again when you're not paying attention. A lot of blood blisters and a few cussings along the way, but it gets done somehow.
Right. So do you work out to keep up your strength, or that is pretty much the workout?
You know, I got so big, like, into the gym, like, when I was in college and stuff, like, that was my one, like, stress reliever. And then when I was working in Colorado, it was, like, 16, 18 hours a day, or sometimes just so many days just, like, through, or, like, you're catching a nap in your chair. And so they had a gym there, luckily, but I didn't go as much as I wanted to, because I was just beat. And then coming back home, you know, just so much going on, I feel like I kind of like slacked off for a while. Like I had hurt my shoulder back home, and then like I got back into it a few months ago, and it's like every morning, like internal alarm clock, like 3:30 in the morning. It's like, okay, let's go to the gym, take a shower, cook breakfast, like let's get our day started. So it's really it's good. It's I think my stress reliever, you know,
for sure,
because it's like I can go like get my stress out, my anger, so I don't like just freak out throughout the day and ready to go. So it does help me a lot. So
nice, that's cool. Do you have any big like upcoming plans or goals for the future?
So currently I did a lot of safety stuff on the side, like job audits, paperwork, like submittals, et cetera, you know, and so I did a lot of that on the side, and I was like, okay, tax purposes, like I gotta get this stuff in order. So LLC's going through on that, getting the ball rolling on that, just to kind of keep growing there. The trucking side for me and my dad, like I said, we've expanded in the last year, added more trailers, rolled into the first pot. I was like, hey, I want to get a pot, let's go for it. And he was like, are you sure about this? So I'm like, what if we never do it, you know? So he's like, okay. And so that's been an experience, and rolling on that side. And I'd like to get where I can just kind of find a happy medium where I'm not always running 24/7s and come back home and enjoy the little things. But, you know, like they say, like when you're in your 20s, you got to grind the hardest. In the long run, it'll pay off. And I don't know, I seen a quote the other day, and it was like, you feel like you're behind because when you get close to like finding that bar, you're setting your goal higher, so you never feel like you're like hitting it. And so that's what I feel like my own worst enemy is, like me, because I'm so hard on myself. And I was telling my mom, I was like, you know, I'm just so far behind. Like I was throwing one of them little fits, you know, I was like, I'm so far behind. And she's like, Angelica, you are 23 and doing way better than everybody else. And I was like, no, because like, honestly, I don't compare myself to someone that's 23 or I guess 24 next week. And I'm like, all of my friends, they're like 30s, doing well, like very successful, great companies. And I'm like, I feel behind. And she's like, if you keep thinking like that, you're just going to keep like raising your bar. But you feel like that because, you know, you push yourself so hard, or I'll be throwing a pity party. My dad was like, "What is wrong with you? Like, you're doing good."
That's funny.
But no, and then that's what I was, when he said, he was like, tell me something. He was like, every table that you get a chance to sit down at, doctors, high in the oil and gas industry, like XYZ.
Yeah.
He was like, who's the youngest at the table? And I was like, me. Every single time he said, exactly. Like, you're doing something right. And I was like, okay, like I am doing something right. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
It's cool that you have parents that are so extremely supportive.
Yeah, I definitely got blessed in the parents department. Don't get me wrong, we've butted heads a time or two,
Right.
But it's just, I think me and my dad, we're pretty much the same person. Thinking wise, like, doesn't matter if we're feeding cattle or breaking colts, or, you know, hey, you go do this load, I'm gonna go do this load, or oh, hey, like, I came across this really good deal on Facebook Marketplace, like, let's buy it and flip it. And he's like, all right, let's go. So
That's awesome.
it's good if I need someone that I can call and kind of bounce ideas around, and, you know, maybe take a walk on the wild side. Like, you know what, we'll risk it, and if it falls, it falls. I'll call my dad. If I need someone to, like, humble me a little bit and be like, that's not a good idea, I'll call my mom and be like, what do you think about this? And she's like, nah, I don't know.
That's cool. What is the one tool that you couldn't live without?
My cell phone.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that thing rings nonstop, and I wish there was times where I could just turn it off. But, you know, if you're anywhere like upper management or running your own business or something, you know, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And I've been in scenarios where people are like, it's either like work or me, and I'm like, okay, there's the door. Like, bye. Have a nice life.
Yeah.
So I think that is like the absolute one tool like I couldn't live without, because like all my schedules, all my trainings, like all of my like upcoming to-dos or meetings, or oh, hey, like I need someone here, or I need like that's the one thing that helps me get through the most. And then when I get in the evenings, I'm like, I don't even want to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get on social media. I'm just gonna like disappear. Be times where I come in, and that's what my mom said the other day too. She was like, you know, I went down to visit. She's like, I didn't realize like when I call you in the evenings every now and again, why you're so like, I don't feel like talking right now. Like, I will call you tomorrow when I'm in a better mood, because I can catch myself now. And I'm like, not really in the greatest mood. Don't want to talk to anybody. Just want to come in, like turn everything off and just reset.
Yeah.
And I think when I was sitting at their kitchen table, my phone probably rang 35 times. And she was like, you haven't even got to eat and everyone else is done. And I was like, yeah, I'm telling you, like, it rings all the time. So,
do you have any embarrassing job site stories you want to share?
oh my gosh, being a woman in the trades, how many guys are going to like try to hit on you is astonishing. It's just like, you said what now? I think that's been, you know, kind of the embarrassing thing, because I was like, what in your right mind? That was gonna work, but I have been pretty lucky. I really haven't did any. I think I was pulling up to like not on my actual job, but like hauling me and my dad. Mm-hmm. It was like kind of slick, wet outside, whatever, and I pull up to get a load. My dad's standing off, you know, there's a group of people, and like I'm not paying a lick attention, and like one of our semis, you have the handrail coming out of the stacks. So I'm like so used to just grabbing it and sliding down, and that's the one I'm normally in. And so I was in the over the road, and when I came jumping out of it, just bebopping, like not paying attention. Like they say when I hit the ground in the morning, I'm not eating nothing all day until I just crash. And so like when I came off that truck, like of course you're supposed to turn around, do your 3 points of contact. But like when you're in a hurry, you're not thinking about that. And I slung that door open and I went to grab, and when I did, like that handrail wasn't there, and like I hit every step and then the concrete, and I just like I laid there. And everyone's just looking at me. I'm like, I'm good. Don't look at me. Just give me a minute. I'm okay. But that was like probably my most embarrassing, because I was like, all right, cool. Or like be slick and wet outside, and the concrete's always got ice on it, and like you come just kind of like like I said, 90 to nothing all the time because I'm like, I gotta get this done, this done, this done. I'm like not paying attention, just smash on the ground. And I'm like, okay, I deserve that because like I should have been paying a little bit more attention. So yeah, I think those are probably my most embarrassing.
Right. That's funny. Right. Well, do you have anything else you want to add?
I mean, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, that's me, you know. Me and my dad, just Barbie and Daughters Land and Cattle Company and custom bale hay and you know, oil and gas industry for Genesis doing their safety and DOT. It's a great company. Nice. If you're looking for a general contractor and, you know.
And you're in Oklahoma. I mean, you're in...
I'm in their Oklahoma division, yeah. So we got a division in Kilgore, Texas.
Okay.
Chickasha, Oklahoma. Midland, Texas, Carlsbad, New Mexico, Damascus, Arkansas.
Dang.
And just kind of anywhere and everywhere. I feel like Oklahoma, we've got guys in Florida right now and Colorado and anywhere and everywhere. So it's kind of like stretched thin all the time, but it's good. It's good. It gives you something to look forward to every day. And in that being in the woman in trades, like you've got to be willing to say it's going to be something new every day. And that's what I enjoy about it. Like, you're not going to deal with the same thing every day. It's going to be a new obstacle and like, what contact do I have that can help me with this resource, you know, and just kind of along the way. So
that's cool. All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah, for sure. It's been fun.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. All the links and products we mentioned today will be listed in the description. If you're a woman in a blue collar industry and you're interested in being the focus of the next episode, or you're a small business that would like to sponsor an episode, reach out to us in the link below.